You may have heard the word anchoring or the term anchoring techniques in terms of behavioral changes or behavioral control, for lack of a better word. This is where we associate one thing with something else. It's a way of basically changing our state, and it can be done for changing our state to a better one or sometimes into a worse one. But for us, for our purposes, the focus here is about creating an anchor that will help us to change our state into one that is more pleasant or more relaxed or in any way better able to deal with stress or stressors that we may encounter. The idea of anchoring goes back to Pavlov's work. Some of you may be familiar with Pavlov's work, where someone would ring a bell and then give food to dogs that were used in these experiments. So with time, the dogs started to associate the sound of this bell with food coming. As a result, once that association was made, when the dogs would hear the bell, they started to salivate because they were expecting food. When it comes to our stress management, we're looking to create some anchors that will help us to change our state. We're not looking to salivate, of course, but we're looking for something, an anchor of some sort, that will help us to change our state into a state of calmness, into a state of relaxation or peacefulness, or something that will be helpful to us as we encounter stressors and stressful situations in life. This is a very simple concept of stimulus response. It's just a matter of practice for that association to be created. This can be a terrific tool in your stress management toolbox. And the great news is that this is something you can do on your own, for yourself, for your own benefit. You put in a little time and effort to create that association, and then as a tool for stress management, you have an anchor or a variety of anchors that you can use to manage stress as you encounter it. As I said, anchors can help to trigger behaviors or to change emotional states. And this is what can be so very helpful in stress management, helping us to change our emotional states before things get away from us, before we're feeling highly stressed out. We can create a variety of different types of anchors. They can be visual, they can be physical, they can be emotional, and they can be behavioral. An example of a behavioral anchor may be doing a certain behavior in order to change your state into a more relaxed one, or more peaceful one, more pleasant one, more confident one. A physical anchor may be touching or holding something physical. You may have heard of people who keep a worry stone in their pocket. Touching that stone may help them to relax or feel more at peace, because the act of touching that stone, which is the anchor, was created specifically to get them into that state of peace or relaxation or maybe confidence. This is just a matter of programming yourself and responding to a stimulus in a way that you want to respond. You may choose to do a behavior as an anchor. Maybe your behavior could be doing something like touching your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And you could train yourself that when you do that, you start to feel more relaxed. You could also have emotional anchors where you start to maybe daydream or remember things that were pleasant. And as a result, have that anchor, that emotional anchor, help to take you into a state of peace and relaxation, if that's what you want the end result to be. A visual anchor, on the other hand, may involve looking at something. Maybe it's a picture, maybe it's a scene, maybe it's an object, but associating that something that you look at with, again, a desired state. It's really much simpler than it may sound. It takes a little bit of time and effort, but it's something that everybody can train themselves to do. The beauty of anchoring is that you can create as many anchors as you want and a variety of anchors, so that when you find yourself in different situations, you have a variety of anchors from which to choose, ones that are most appropriate for the situation. If you have an object as an anchor, you may not always have that object near you or available to you, but if you have other anchors, such as a behavior, you could use the example of touching the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. You don't need to have any objects. You don't need to have something to look at. It's a very simple and discrete anchor that can be programmed, if you will, as a very effective tool to move you into a desired state. How do we create these anchors? How do we get these anchoring tools into our stress management toolbox? Well, first and foremost, when you are creating anchors and programming anchors into your life, make sure that you're doing it when you are in a peaceful and hopefully quiet environment where you don't have interruptions, where the right things are being associated with the right stimulus or anchor. Work on one anchor at a time. Repetition is key. If you want to use a worry stone, for example, as an anchor that makes you feel more relaxed, get yourself into a place where you can easily feel relaxed. Maybe for you that means having some alone time in a hammock in your backyard. While you're doing that and feeling very relaxed, hold that worry stone in your hand and focus on that stone as you're also focusing on how relaxed you're feeling. When you do that enough times, holding that stone alone will help you to change your state, whatever it may be to start with, into that more relaxed state, because you come to associate one with the other. If you choose to create an anchor, such as looking at an object, maybe a picture, maybe a physical thing, do the same thing. Get yourself into that desired state, whether it's relaxation, feeling peaceful, or maybe feeling confident. But make sure that you have that object or that image as part of the experience, so that one gets associated with the other. And then as a result, one helps you to achieve the other, helps you to change that state or get into that desired state. If you want to use emotional anchors, or maybe you daydream or visualize, practice while being in the desired state of being peaceful and relaxed, if that's what your goal is. As you can see, your imagination is your best friend here. Choose your anchors wisely. They should be things that are readily available, that are discreet whenever discretion is required, and that are easy to work with. Practice until you feel that anchor is well established, and then practice using your anchors in situations where you want to change your state. Be intentional, be on purpose, and practice until you're at a point where your response is quick and automatic, almost as if you didn't even have to think about it. That's the goal here. It may take a little bit of time, but it's one of the easiest things that you can do to change your state as you practice stress management. I hope that I've piqued your interest on the topic of anchors. It's a great tool to have in your stress management toolbox. I hope you give it a try. Aim for a variety of anchors and make sure you practice until you have strong associations to get you into that desired state when you are facing actual stressors. If you'd like to learn more about a comprehensive approach to stress management, check out the links below.